Suzanne's Paparazzi Jewelry, 24/7 shopping available. 160920 is the code. Show her some love, like she showed us. K&A Custom Crafts on Facebook.
Hello, everybody, and welcome. To Morning Tailgate here on Coast to Coast Entertainment Network. I am Crispy Bacon, here with the Prime Oos, Tim. How you doing this morning?
Good. I'm doing really good. Week 18 of the NFL season. We're looking deep and hard into a playoff. In the playoff runs, a lot of things are going to get settled today. Hopefully, we're not going to have a repeat of 2 years ago with the Colts. Just to go ahead and screw that up. Other than that, New Year's Eve. I'm going to say it early. You guys go have fun. Be safe. Be careful. But have fun.
All right. Everybody be safe and have fun tonight. We're also joined by Big B. How you doing, Big B?
Doing good. As a matter of fact, I am heading into work. I know we got a big party planned at the casino. So, like Tim said and Chris said, everybody out driving around tonight, please be safe. Call for rides if you need to. But week 17, 2 games in the books. Exciting football. We got a good lineup. Playoff picture is going to shape up here. Hopefully this week, if not for sure next week, see what teams are playing for what. So it should be a good Sunday for football.
It should be a good Sunday for football. Yesterday was a good day for some.
Yep.
We'll get to that here. Actually, we'll get to it first. Big B, what is your one tough question that you had?
So I really didn't have one until last night, and it's going to roll right into the last night's game, which I have not seen. But guys, we saw the controversy with the 2-point conversion, eligible receiver, non-eligible receiver. How can the NFL fix this so we don't have this happen again, especially in this type of game where the playoff picture matters, I guess. The series matters. So, Tim, I'll start with you because I know Chris's team was involved. I want to get his opinion. So, Tim, I'll start with you. What can the NFL do to fix this?
If you know how we fix this, we don't have eligible receivers. I think if we're going to fix this completely right, we have no ineligible receiver numbers who can become eligible. We just take it completely out of the game. If you really want to fix it, and then at this point there would be no confusion. But outside of barring it, I think the ineligible number should go to the head ref. Go right specifically to the head ref, call himself eligible, and that's it. Nobody else should be doing anything other than that. I'm catching bits and pieces about what happened last night. You guys caught me up pretty good about what happened last night. Well, this morning for me, but we don't. I usually the person who has to be considered eligible has got to be the person that goes and talks. You can't have somebody else go in. The confusion I'm understanding is that 70 was talking to the ref at the same time as 68, or vice versa. That it should be only one person should be talking to one specific ref. I think that should be dictated, that if you're going to come in as an ineligible number to come in as an eligible receiver, I think you should go specifically to either to the line judge or to the head referee. They make a call. Usually, since the referee's the guy that's making the call inside the stadium to announce to the stadium that 70 or 68 is going to be eligible, I think you should go to him. Nobody else. Anything else outside of that wouldn't be a legal representation. My question, I think I brought it up backstage, is what number did the refs call inside the stadium? Because that's the only person who's actually technically eligible. I don't care if the ref goes over to the defense to say anything because technically the reason why referees make a call inside the stadium is so it can be marked on film.
Yep.
And I don't know. And like you guys said in the backstage that you didn't hear the numbers. Like you said, Brandon, you didn't see the game much like I did. Crispy said he didn't hear the name. Or the number. That's the only way it can be done. You have to go specifically to one official, and at this point, it would have to be the head ref. You find the white cap, go to the white cap, go in there, say you're eligible, and be clear. And be clear. None of this rubbing your jersey saying, no, dude, you look like you're a boxer who just got knocked out. And you're trying to come up now. Come in. This is the same thing with coin flips. Come in, say what you're doing. Be very, very articulate. Be very, very succinct about what's being said, so nothing gets screwed up. I think that rule needs to be. If that's the way you're going to go, that's the way you got to go. You got to go to the head ref, one person, the person that's coming in eligible, and then you have to say specifically about what's going to happen.
Nope, I got you. Chris, what's your thoughts? I mean, this was your team that was involved, so hopefully you can put some bias aside, and I know you can. So what's your thoughts?
Yeah. No, I mean, after that last, I think it was I can't remember, a field goal or a touchdown, but the last score Cowboys had, I thought when the Lions got the ball, I thought, yeah, they're going to score, and I thought they're going to go for one and send it to overtime and possibly win it that way. It went for two multiple times because there's multiple penalties, one of which we're talking about of the illegal man downfield. I think it, and I know they're trying to be equal, on each side. Like this team's going to have an ineligible, or ineligible receiver become eligible, and then you have to report it to the other team to match it up and all that. It kind of takes out the fun, like you were saying backstage, Big B, of, trick plays. Because now they're not trick plays anymore. But I think if that play would have stood, it would be a 1-point game. Dallas would have lost. And it would be a close game no matter what, but Dallas would have definitely lost that.
Yeah, so I'm kind of with Tim on this. I think the only way to fix this is just get rid of the rule, and anybody that wants to pretend they're a receiver or running backs, no matter the size or number, I think that's the only way we're going to fix it. Again, we talked backstage, and to me, if the ref comes out and said that, yeah, he screwed up, it's on him that he told the wrong number. And didn't call it out because, Chris, you listened to the game. You said you did not hear them say who was eligible publicly. So this would be the one and only time where if the truth comes out, the ref admits that he made a mistake, that Gradell has to step in and reverse the decision and give the victory to the Lions. I know we talked about it. Dallas, Texas would just go up in flames. Again, Detroit would go up in flames too if they came out with the rule or came out with the facts and did reverse the decision. So, if I'm the ref, I just kind of keep my mouth quiet now because a lot of things can happen. But it has to change. I'm with Tim. I think that everybody should just be eligible during the play of the game. But again, they screwed up because supposedly Detroit went to them beforehand and said that, hey, this play we might run late in the game. This is what's going to happen. And they had knowing it, so they kind of still dropped the ball on it. So, maybe we get a playoff rematch, or maybe we're starting to see more and more as our beloved Sarge reported or said in the chat. Maybe we're getting more of hinting that it's a scripted game. So I don't know. So with that being said, guys, I mean, before we move into the game, what's your guys' thoughts on Packers controversy there, suspending one of their better defensive backs for calling the coin flip and not being a captain this past Sunday? Tim, well, I know we both got Packer fans deep in our family trees, so what do you think?
Oh gosh. And it happens to be, and he gets suspended for a game against the Vikings.
Yeah.
And the funny thing is, you're a Vikings fan. My stepdaughter's a
Yep.
Vikings fan. I got family members who are Packer fans. I'm surprised. I'm surprised Minnesota right now doesn't smell the scent of melted cheese from across the border. I kind of want to know what Jair Alexander was thinking when he decided to go and go to the coin toss when you're not a captain. That just doesn't. That's
He was from there, so he was under the impression that if you're from there, that you're automatically a captain, and then he went out and made the coin flip.
No,
He
that's
could be honorary captain, but
Yeah, so he
captain. That
yeah, because he stated that he was under the impression that if you're from there, that you're typically the captain. So he went out there. So and supposedly he attended the captain meetings and stuff. So I don't know, but
I think a game. Are you suspending your best cornerback for a full game in a game that you need to win to make the playoffs? That by itself is reckless. Because if you're the Packers, you need to win this game and the next game just to have a thought at a playoff spot. Golly, I'd have suspended him for a half at most. I think what is their GM's name? Grudenheist or Grudenhorst or some weird German.
The whole state of Wisconsin.
The whole state, basically the owners. I guarantee you, the owners of the owners of the Green Bay Packers wouldn't have suspended him. Period. But I think a full game is a little harsh. This is a thing of being. You need to. This goes back to me saying, you need to articulate what's going to happen. Come game time, be very specific. This is the whole thing about that coming back up again. You have to state very clearly what's going to happen. Well, you've set precedent now, and now every team can look at this going, well, you're not a captain. You went out and called a coin flip and almost lost. Did that game even go into overtime?
I don't think.
No,
so.
I don't think so. No, I can't remember.
That was an opening kick. That was an opening game coin flip.
Yep.
And
he won the coin flip and then misspoke on what he wanted to do.
So basically, Green Bay won the coin toss. Probably wanted to defer and receive and kick off for the second half, and he probably said something that he wanted to receive because he wanted, which is really not even a defensive player's mind thought, because if a defensive player is calling that, they're deferring and kicking off, because the first thing a defense wants to do is wants to go out there and punch you in the face. So yeah, that's weird. And that's another thing. You got to specifically tell whoever's going out playing captain, because at this point it's playing captain, who's going to make the call. And it's crazy. I would have never suspended him for a full game, because you're going to need that guy, especially against Minnesota. I think that's ridiculous. I think the game is too much, and I think you pretty much could have shot yourself. And they're down another cornerback, Savage, being out again so you've shot yourself in the foot. Now you've started taking your two starting corners and basically don't have them for the game.
Yep.
Stupid.
All right. Chris, what's your thoughts?
Yeah, I think it's a little excessive on the penalty per se, on the punishment. Maybe a series. You'd probably suspend suspend him a series, but I mean, I don't know if he's been a captain before, but I would usually check the rules to see what all of that entails. But
Yeah, so Packers they don't do yearly captains, they do weekly captains, I guess, from what the reports
yeah,
are saying. So, and then there's an unwritten rule. I mean, other coaches have said it. Unwritten rule typically, if you got a player from that city or state, that they'll be the captain, honorary or a real captain. So, unwritten rule. But I'm with Tim. I am a Vikings fan. I think it should be a series or a half, quarter, and a pretty decent fine. I don't think he should get away with, you know, that much. I mean, definitely the game is going to be because Tim, you can definitely agree, and Chris, you can agree too, that Packers lose. Who's going to get the blame for it? It's going to be the coach because they suspended one of their better players. So, Packers coaching staff better hope they win, or else they're going to get the firing. They're not going to go back to Green Bay without everybody having signs up there wanting to fire the coach.
Well,
So they better hope.
Joe Barry won't go back. That's a guarantee at this point.
Yeah, so they better hope that they win because they will be hearing it from the fans. And Tim, like I said, we have uh, deep, diehard Packer fans, and I know they would be out there in the picket line if they lose the game, especially against Minnesota. So, and how much this game means because, like you said, Tim, both teams need to win to have a 50-50 shot, I guess, going into next week because the loser still has a shot, but everybody in front of them has to lose. So, what's that being said, guys? Let's get into last night's game. I'll kind of talk about it. I mean, Chris, you let us know what happened because me and Tim did not see it, and then I'll head out for the day.
I think it'd be beat. Yeah, it was kind of, I guess, calm a little bit. It was low scoring for most of the game. And then things got really picked up towards the end of the game. We talked about the penalty at the end. We also had CD Lamb break Michael Irvin's record of most, I think, receiving yards or receiving touches. I can't remember, but he broke Michael Irvin's record. Jimmy Johnson got in the Ring of Honor. So that's pretty much the gist of that game. 20-19 was your score. Close game, and I think that if Detroit got in with that 2 point, it would have been over. And then that Thursday we had Cleveland and the New York Jets. Cleveland won that game over New York. Kind of figured that would happen, but Cleveland did something that they normally don't do, is make the playoffs. So Tim, what do you think of that?
Yeah, it's first of all, we got to talk about the resurgence of Joe Flacco. It's all of a sudden like Joe Flacco turned 24 again, and he's doing things that he didn't do in Baltimore. It's like throw the football and score 3 touchdowns and go for over 300. It said Joe Flacco was the guy who basically relied on his defense. Now you got Joe Flacco going out there thinking he's back at Delaware throwing the hell out of the football. I'm happy for the Browns. I really am. I kind of hope they would have lost, but I'd have needed them to lose 2 straight for us just to jump in the rankings. It's going to be interesting because I think Cleveland plays Baltimore next week. I think that game's going for the playoffs, so it's going to I'm going to double check before I open my mouth because I'm good for it. No, the Steelers play the Ravens next week. So I'm impressed with Cleveland. You figured with Watson going out, I figured they would have been trying to find something they could do. It's the Jets. It seems like the Jets hype. I know they don't have Aaron Rodgers, but that's beside the point. Rodgers is only one guy. I'm impressed with Cleveland. I saw Cleveland this year. They beat us. Um, it's one of those teams that's always they're like the Chicago Cubs of the NFL. You know, they always seem like they're the lovable losers, but everybody really likes to put the foot on their throat. Um, I'm happy for them. I hope we don't have to see them in the playoffs. I hope we make the playoffs first. But you know, I'm really impressed with what Cleveland's done this year.
I am too. You lose four, you supposedly good quarterbacks, and you lose Chubb, all of them for the season, remainder of the season when they went out, and you're thinking it's doom and gloom for Cleveland, and then somehow you make the playoffs. You had to win the game to make the playoffs. Now it's looking like most likely not, but you could make the division. You could win the division. You just gotta hope Baltimore loses, and we'll get to that later. But regardless, they're in the playoffs, whether they win a division or not,
Right.
and I think that's special for them.
Yeah, it is. I think the note that's been going around is that this is the first time in 70 years that Detroit and Cleveland both have 10 wins in the same season.
I believe since 1953.
I think so, and that's a good sign to the NFL that we're getting that new fresh meat going into the playoffs.
Yeah, it is, and I mean, what? It's been 4 years since Cleveland made the playoffs last. Last
I
time was
think
with Baker.
Yeah, and the funny thing is, and I think, and I don't think a lot of people remember this. I think the one of the few times I think that New England is not going to make the playoffs, which were coached by Belichick, right?
Mm-hmm.
Who's going to get replaced in the playoffs by the Cleveland Browns, who was once coached by Bill Belichick.
That is funny. That you can't make that up. Well, maybe you can, but I don't know.
You can, but you try not to.
Yeah, we're not writing for that. No, but with that, let's head into this week's picks. We're gonna start with, as we mentioned just a minute ago, New England. They are taking on Buffalo. Big B has Buffalo winning this game. Tim, who do you got?
God, this is I. Every time I say this isn't going to look pretty, it's not. I get basically run over. Um, I've got Buffalo. It's at this point. I'm not. I think New England's playing for pride, but they could also be playing for a play for a draft pick, a better pick. It's going to be crazy. I think Buffalo wins this going away. Um, yeah, it's you got Hamlin who's questionable for Buffalo. You've got Ramondre Stevenson who's on the IR, so that's kind of doesn't help them out at all. Jabril Peppers is out for New England. Um, I just think that Josh Allen's going to pick apart this defense. Um, I think it's not going to be pretty. I say that, and it's going to be a field goal score. It's going to be a field goal difference. But I got Buffalo, and matter of fact, I'm going to make Buffalo my lock. Hey, my lock.
Oh, wow.
I'm going to tell you, I made a crazy lock last week. I made a stupid crazy lock last week by taking the Raiders against the Chiefs, and how in the world that figured out was beyond me.
Yeah, that game was weird. I don't know. Did you see on that Chiefs game the training table broke?
No.
Yeah, like one of the Chiefs players was hurt. He goes on the table, to get looked at, and then it just broke. That summarized the game last week.
Golly.
I'm going Buffalo too. Buffalo, they have to win, of course, to make the playoffs, but they also need Pittsburgh and Cincinnati to lose.
Oh,
There's
I was
also
looking.
13 other things they can do, but
Well, the funny thing is, I was
what was
looking
that?
last night at Buffalo, right, and about what they need to have happen for them to make the playoffs, and I was like, there was like 8 crazy scenarios. Yeah, granted, all of them start with Buffalo winning, but I'm like, holy hell, there's like 8 different scenarios that the Bills need for just them to make the playoffs.
Well, actually, what there's to start out like the 6 playoff scenarios. You need Buffalo to tie, Pittsburgh to lose, Cincinnati to lose, and Jacksonville to lose.
Jeez, that's nuts. I thought I saw
But
another one where it was like, what, Buffalo needs to lose, and Indy and Houston need to lose. I'm like, okay, no.
yeah, I don't know. But first, Buffalo has to win and hope Pittsburgh and Cincinnati loses. That's your main goal
Right.
right here. Uh, Next you have Atlanta and Chicago. Big B has Chicago winning. Who's your pick?
After what I saw after the brief little stupidity that the Colts did last week against Atlanta, losing to a team that's below 500, um, I like Atlanta. I I think the only way they're making into the playoffs is if they win the division, and with that division being so tight and so terrible, I think it's going to be crazy. But I've got Atlanta. They've got a lot. Um, it's crazy because I still think the Chicago Bears can still make the playoffs for some bloody reason. But it's like Green Bay. You need 2 wins. That they need to win out, and they have to have basically everybody above them lose twice. Um, it's crazy, but I've got Atlanta. I think Heineke showed Heineke numbers last week. It was just like it was crazy to see. And when then we lose Justin Blackman early. Um, I think that game's different if Justin doesn't go down. I like Atlanta. I think it's going to be a close game. I think this is a field goal game too. I like Atlanta. They're just you can't figure Atlanta out. Chicago we kind of had figured out, and then they all of a sudden woke up. But I like Atlanta in this game.
Yeah, I was going back and forth on this one because believe it or not, Chicago Bears, they're still in it. They have a lot to happen. Um, they have to win out, or they can have the Seahawks lose out. Uh, Rams lose out. Uh, Saints lose once, or they could have the complicated Packers lose week 17, or Vikings lose out actually week 17 and week 18. Um, I was going back and forth on this game because the Falcons haven't been all that good. Chicago wasn't it originally, but they've bounced back a few times. This game is in Shoulder Field in Chicago. I'm going Chicago. Um, Hopefully that doesn't bite me in the bottom, but we'll see. Uh, Las Vegas Raiders and the Indianapolis Colts. Big B has Vegas winning. Tim, who do you got? Your team on this one, and James's team, but he's not feeling well.
This is the game I hate because this is the team. This was 2 years ago. The team that knocked us basically out of the playoffs because we lost to them. Golly, and I'm going to be honest. I took the Colts because we're going to have Pittman back. No Zach Moss, but that's okay. Um, I this is kind of that revenge game. You know, I know we played them. We played them since then, since we got knocked out of the playoff hunt a couple of years back. Well, we're playing for a division at this point, and I didn't think we'd be saying that either. It's crazy. I don't know what game Indy was playing last week against Atlanta, but we can't have that come back come back. Like I said earlier, we lost Blackman. We lost Ogletree, but we're not going to talk about Ogletree because Ogletree's an idiot. Because he did stupid things. If we can
Hey, he's not an
contain,
idiot. I'm just kidding.
huh?
He was on the Cowboys a few years ago.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Well, I would say that explains everything, but I won't.
Okay, I know.
But this defense needs to play at its level. But the thing is, we got to keep Minshew upright and not to have him roll to his left. Basically, try to keep him roll to his right. Basically, slow down the blitz because he's terrible against the blitz. And hand the ball off to Trey Sermon and Jonathan Taylor. I know people just got scared because I said Trey Sermon first. I think this is going to be a 6-point game. I think Indy wins this game because it's in Indy. I don't think they want the repeat of two years ago because right now we're playing for a division and a playoff spot. Yeah, I've got Indy, but it's going to be a 6-point game.
Yeah, I got Indy as well. And for the thing is, the Colts cannot lose because later on we're gonna have the Jacksonville pick, and you don't want Jacksonville to win. I mean, yeah, it's your divisional rival, but if they win and you lose, it's over.
Yeah.
But I got Indy as well. Hopefully they can pull out a victory, but it's going to be a tough one. Rams at the Giants. Big B has the Rams. Tim, who do you got for this one?
So I'm double checking. I want to make sure that it's not Danny DeVito playing quarterback for the Giants. Okay, he's not. It's still Tyrod Taylor. Tyrod Taylor's what's scary. He was
know.
scary early. He was scary early in the season. I just saw that Puka is playing, so we have Puka. Rams. We're talking about Rams playing for a playoff spot. That's another one that I don't even want to see what that's going to be. I think Stafford wins this game. I think it's going to be a 10-point game, 10 between 10 and 14 points. I like the Rams in this game. My house, I'm the only one that likes the Rams in this game. Everybody else likes the Giants, so I don't know if they're drinking too much wine or what. But don't worry. The confusing one they had picked later is much later. So yeah, but I've got the Rams in this game.
I got the Rams in this game too. Giants already eliminated from playoff contention. I'm not too worried about that, but it's also a division rival. You want your division rivals to fall. I don't know why the Giants though benched their quarterback. I just he was playing good, I thought.
Yeah, I thought so too. But I think wasn't it my understanding was that he got benched going into the second half because of turnovers or something in the first half.
I think so, but everybody has turnovers. I don't, maybe he just wasn't bouncing back after him. That's probably it. But
yeah,
Arizona and Philadelphia. Big B has Philadelphia. I think this one's gonna be a clean sweep. But who's your pick?
Oh yeah, we're making it a clean sweep. I think Philadelphia is just basically just warming up the band at this point. What they need what? They need to win this game for what? The North. They need to win this week and next week for the North or for the South.
For the East.
For the East. Yeah. I'm so used to Dallas not being in the geographically correct.
Yeah, I think I can't remember the whole scenarios, but yeah, I think we have to have Philly to lose.
Yeah.
to get a shot at the division next week. But I got Philly too. Arizona just hasn't looked too good. They probably won't look good next year, but who knows?
Kyler is
At least-
sick. Did you know that Kyler's fighting an injury, an illness?
No, was it the flu? Probably. There's a lot of
Probably.
things going around, but
And you got and the thing is, it's what is it? The former Eagles assistant Gannon is the head coach. Is that in Arizona?
yeah,
Yeah. So it'd be nice that he gets a little revenge, but I don't see it happening.
I don't either. I think anybody that comes in the Arizona system next year is probably better than Kyler Murray at this point.
Right.
Maybe not true, but at least looking at net right now, it could be.
Yeah.
New Orleans and Tampa Bay. New Orleans is your road team going to Tampa Bay. Big B has Tampa. Who do you got in this NFC South matchup?
I got the New Orleans Saints. I just don't know what it is. I have this feeling, the Buccaneers can clinch with a win today,
Yes.
but Derek Carr, the quarterback from 2 years ago that decided to put the throat on Indy, he could do the same thing today for Tampa. I think the Saints are playing with a lot of heart. They're playing that to make at least be 500 and still playing for a playoff spot. I think the Saints win this game. I think it's going to be close. I think this could be an overtime game. I just I just really, 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 really like the Saints. Found out and just this just in, Josh Jacobs is out for today's game.
Ooh.
So if anybody wants to change their Raiders vote, they can.
Big B. I'm just kidding. They'll probably stick with it. I'm sure. We'll ask him after the show. Yeah, this is going to be an interesting matchup between these two teams. Both these teams are looking for a spot in the playoffs, but right now Tampa Bay has the better chance of getting in just with a win. Baker Mayfield has also had a resurgence in Florida, as him and Flacco have been on the rally train this year. I'm going Tampa. Why not? I'm also going to make it my lock.
Wow, you're going against me. I get it. Okay.
San Francisco and Washington. Big B has San Francisco. Who's your pick?
remember when I said earlier that my house it doesn't agree with me on this pick?
Uh-oh.
This is the one. I didn't
This
think
is
you
the
were
one
coming
they
up.
agree on?
This is the one they agree on, and then they and I don't get it. And they told me it was a tough pick, and I do realize, and I told them, you do realize it's the San Francisco 49ers. Oh boy. They took the Commanders. I'm not taking the Commanders. I'm taking the 49ers, and I think this is going to be the scary game. I think this game is over at halftime. Again, it's just too many weapons for San Francisco, and I think like James and you and I have brought up many times that the Commanders traded away any defensive players that they had on their team away. At this point, San Francisco should be, like I said, this game should be over by halftime.
It should, yeah. Do you see? I doubt this, but do you see Purdy winning MVP?
No.
No.
I think, truthfully, if it's going to be anybody that should win it, I think it should be CMC. I think Christian McCaffrey should win it. If they're going only quarterback, then maybe Purdy. But I think in that case it's a 2-horse race between Purdy and Jackson, Lamar Jackson. If you're going outside of that, you're looking at Tyreek Hill and Christian McCaffrey. But I think it's going to be
I can see any of
McCaffrey.
those names we threw out. McCaffrey's
Yeah.
been really good. I'm going
Yeah.
San Francisco. I feel like Washington's been on a downhill spiral. They will be relieving their coach after the season. Multiple reports have stated that. And I believe I saw they're going to start Howell today. Brissett is injured. He's going to be on the sidelines this week. So it's going to be Sam Howell stepping in at the quarterback position.
Basically, you're feeding them to the Lions at this point.
Yeah. Carolina and Jacksonville. Big B has Jacksonville.
Oh.
I think I know where this pick is going, but who is your pick, Primus?
No Trevor Lawrence. This makes sense. So this went from a very difficult decision to very easy when I heard no Trevor Lawrence not playing in his first game in the NFL. This made this so much easier, and Sarge is going to love hearing the words that come out of my mouth. And any Indianapolis Colts fans and Texans fans are going to love the next words that come out of my mouth. I'm taking the Carolina Panthers.
Ooh. That's interesting. Would you like to switch your lock? I'm just kidding.
I thought about it. Believe me, I thought about it.
I'm going Jacksonville. I feel like they could still win it, even though their quarterback is out. But that's why you pay the backups.
Yeah.
Hopefully, to do the job the starter can't do at that point.
CJ Beathard. Oh boy.
Who did he play with before?
See, it's CJ Beathard played for. Oh boy.
I feel like he was a Colt.
No, Beathard wasn't a Colt. He's got the same last name as the former the one guy, the former GM for the Chargers.
Okay.
He was where was he at? Give me a second. I'm pulling up his stats. He was 2023. I don't want 2023.
Oh, he was with the 49ers, it looked like.
San Francisco's. He was with San Francisco from 17 to 20.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I was like, I've heard that name. Where'd he play?
Yeah.
Hopefully he can rally Jacksonville.
I'm hoping not. I'm hoping really not.
Right. I understand that. Probably the game of the week or game of this slate, I guess. Miami and Baltimore, two of the top teams in the AFC, squaring off. Big B has Baltimore winning this game. Who's your pick, Tim?
I think this may be a AFC Championship preview. I think this is going to be. I think you said it right. I think I don't think this is going to be the best game of this side of the.
That's what I mean. Of this slate of
I think
games,
it's going to be the whole. I think the whole day. I think this is going to be the best game. I think this has the possibility of being a close game, but I think it's got a possibility. The other thing is it's got a possibility of being high scoring, which is really weird when you're talking about Baltimore. I like
high
Baltimore.
scoring too.
Huh?
Miami's high scoring too.
Yeah. I like Baltimore. I think Baltimore stops them just one or two enough time. Brandon says its lock is the Bucks.
Ooh.
The message just came across.
Okay.
But I got Baltimore, so.
All right. I got Baltimore too. Miami's really good. Baltimore's really good. I feel like Baltimore has a little bit more to their game, though, because of Lamar Jackson having that running ability. when you have a running quarterback like that, and of course you got running backs there too, it's almost like a second running back on the field. So that's what I'm thinking.
Yeah.
Um,
And no
Tennessee and
Mostert. There's no Mostert for Miami.
yeah, I think Baltimore has a chance now.
Yeah, it came in about the same time that I saw Puka was coming back and no Josh Jacobs, but then I saw no Mostert. So no Mostert for Miami either. So
Tennessee and Houston. Big B has Houston. Who's your pick?
yeah, as much as I don't want to say it, I've got Houston. I think Houston's fighting for much like Indy and Jacksonville for fighting for the division and for a playoff spot. Houston needs a little more help. They get a little bit more help next week because they get Indy next week, so that helps a little bit on both sides of the football for the playoff spot. Tennessee just looks like trash. I can say that because I'm an AFC South guy. You're 5-10. You got Levis starting, C.J. Stroud, the Levis who was at one point projected to be the number one quarterback. C.J. Stroud projected at one point to be the number one quarterback, number one draft pick. We get to finally see this. Hopefully it'll be a nice little. I'm saying this now and regretting it in 2 seconds. Maybe this is going to be like the rivalry between Kelly and Marino. Don't quote me on that. If it comes to pass where they both suck later on, please erase this tape. I the future is going to be good on this in this rivalry, but I've got Houston.
Uh, I do have Houston on this game too. Even though is CJ Stroud playing?
Yep. No, Stroud's
Okay.
playing. Levis is
Yeah,
not.
I got
Levis is
Houston for this one.
they got Tannehill playing right now. According to this, they show Tannehill playing for Tennessee.
Is Levis still hurt?
Looks like it.
That's interesting.
It is.
Huh.
Let me double check to see if they still got him.
That is
Levis
interesting.
Levis is not on the.
Huh.
Will Levis is not on the injury report,
So this is a
but they
full
have.
bench.
Yeah, this is a full bench.
We're breaking news as it happens, people. Uh, that's why we're both confused here.
Yep.
But yeah, I got Houston winning this game. In the afternoon slate, late afternoon, Pittsburgh and Seattle, Super Bowl 40 rematch. Matt Hasselbeck. I'm just kidding. Big B has Pittsburgh. Here's your pick, Tim.
I've got Pittsburgh too. I think if they start Kenny Pickett, it'd be awesome. But at this point, they're starting Mason Rudolph. It's just weird that Geno Smith is compared to last year. Geno Smith seems like he's up and down compared to last year. I just don't like it. I almost want to think the Steelers are playing for Tomlin's job at this point. That's why I think the Steelers win today.
Yeah, there's been multiple reports floating around the internet that even though he's not going to get fired per se, but there's trade rumors of Tomlin, being traded. That's interesting, I think. But
Well, according to this, it's like that they could actually be traded to Seattle. No, that can't be right.
what? No,
Exactly. That can't be right. Why would
so,
Seattle give
so
him
this is a job interview game.
I guess.
You're scouting for the other team, and
Right.
Seattle's going. Oh man. Um, I got Seattle too. Um, Geno Smith has been playing really well. I don't think that's going to stop anytime soon, barring anything happening. But um, I'm picking Seattle in this one. As we head to our next game, more confusion in the NFL, if there's anything possible about that. The Chargers going up against the Denver Broncos without Russell Wilson, who's been benched. Uh, I believe Big B picked Chargers. I'll look that up here in a second. But who's your pick, Tim?
Yeah, I've got the Chargers. I'm not a Jarrett Stidham connoisseur per se. Um, I don't know what in the world's going on in Denver. I thought it was weird last year, and then I figured all of a sudden it's like season two of a daytime drama, a soap opera. All of a sudden, you hear that Russell Wilson's benched for the rest of the season. And the weird thing, and you think that's weird. Russell thinks he's getting cut at the end of the season, and then the next words out of Russell's mouth is that he thinks he's going to stay but he wants to stay there.
Yeah, he had a tweet saying, God has a plan for me. I'll be fine no matter what no matter what happens. Something like that.
What? I don't know. I've got the Chargers. I don't know. We all thought the Chargers were a big shit show. All of a sudden, we didn't realize that Denver was going to be the bigger one in Week 17. Um,
Yeah,
Golly, yeah, I've got the Chargers.
I got the Chargers too, but the weird thing is that um the binging had to do some with performance on the field. Some of it had to do with, and I'm not a good salary cap person, but some of it had to do with money. Apparently, if he played the entire season, he'd be, getting some money out before the next year. I don't know, something
Right.
about that. Um, and then Big B on Sports Minute said that watch out if the Vikings weren't a favorite to land Wilson. And then the odds came out that he is the favorite to
Jeez.
land in Minnesota.
Yeah,
But
to
no
remember,
matter what happened,
you have to remember Russell played at University of Wisconsin his senior year.
so he's going to Green Bay.
No, he's not going to Green Bay. Could go to Chicago at this point, which is right
That's
next
probably
door.
yeah. Uh, but no matter what, in Russell Wilson's eyes, he has unlimited options.
Right.
Um, Next up, we have the Cincinnati Bengals and the Kansas City Chiefs. Big B has Kansas City. Who is your pick?
I've got Kansas City. I think that I think I've beaten on them enough after last week. They've lost 3 games in a row, 3 or 4 games in a row. Um,
Yeah.
I think Kansas City'd be really happy if I didn't pick on them anymore at this point. How they still have a spot in how they're still number one in their division, but then again, I realize who's all in their division. Um, yeah, I've got Kansas City. I think it's going to be a really good game, to be honest.
Yeah, I think so too. I got Kansas City too. Um, Hopefully, New Year's Eve is better than Christmas Eve for Kansas City, because they desperately need a win. If they do win I, this game, I believe they've clinched the division. Looking
Yeah.
that up. right
They
now,
do.
but that sounds about right. So yeah, I got Kansas City over Cincinnati, and I like both these teams, but Kansas City's playing at home.
Yeah.
And then the final, well, I won't say final, but the final game of this week, since we had Monday Night Football on a Saturday, Green Bay and Minnesota. Big B has Minnesota. Who's your pick?
Funny thing is, the game's on Monday night here, so technically kind of Monday night. It's
Oh,
at
that's
it's
true.
at 2:20 a.m. on Monday. So, um, my stepdaughter is gonna love me on this one. My family, not so much. Um, I've got Minnesota. I think the mistake of them benching Alexander for a game is going to come back to bite them very, very hard. Um, and especially coming down with Savage being injured, I think we've got. I think Minnesota can easily, with their weapons, with Osborne and no Hawkinstein, who's out for the season, um, but with Osborne and Addison, I think Addison's coming back. But you got Jefferson and Osborne against basically a very makeshift cornerback set. I think Minnesota wins this one. I think Minnesota wins this easy. I think Minnesota wins this easy.
Yeah, I think Minnesota wins this game too. I don't think we have to call it the Kirk Cousins curse anymore, at least for this year.
Yeah,
I got them winning.
because he's hurt. Come on,
I know.
it's like how
I
we
know.
like, hey, it's like Kirk. What do I keep calling him? And I can't even remember what I call him. The Flanders, Kurt Flanders. There,
Oh,
Ned Flanders' football
Ned
cousin.
Flanders.
Golly, I don't like the guy. I really don't like him. But that's one
So
guy's opinion.
that's our game picks for this week, week 17 of the NFL season. Before we get into your prime ooze or the prime five, there's news kind of trickling in about last night's Cowboy game. Uh, Brad Allen, referee crew, is expected to be downgraded and out for the 2024 NFL playoffs. This is
Who?
from Adam Scheffner through
Who's out for the
PR.
24 playoffs?
The referee crew that was reffing the game last night
All
for the
right.
Cowboy game.
That's a good start.
And then the radio crew who does the radio broadcasts for the Cowboys game put out a video saying that the call was made to the stadium.
Are they listening? Are they watching our show?
Maybe. I don't know. It seems like it, but that's the
Golly.
news we have on it so far. If there's any more, we'll break it next week. And with that, what's your prime five for the week?
I was going to do this last week, and then I had family dinner
Right.
for Christmas Eve. So I don't think anything's really changed because I looked at my list and going, boy, they're the same five. It's the same five from last week. I'm going with Coach of the Year. I think we
It's
can
your
all.
power rankings.
What's that?
Ooh.
My power rankings. No power rankings. My number five. I'm going with the Coach of the Year. Number five. I think if the Miami Dolphins are, a lot of things have to happen. I don't think it's going to happen. My number five is Mike McDaniel of the Miami Dolphins. A lot of things above it has to change, and two of these guys have already clinched playoff spots. So we're not going to be talking too much. Number four, we're talking about a guy who took a team that had the number 4 pick in the draft and has them knocking on the door for a division and a playoff spot. It's Shane Steichen for the Indianapolis Colts. He'd be higher on this list if number 3 wasn't the guy who drafted number 2 in the draft. My number 3 is D'Amico Ryans of the Houston Texans. I think what he's done with Houston is absolutely phenomenal. I think if it weren't for number 1 and number 2, if D'Amico gets Houston into the playoffs, he should actually jump my number 2 and number 1. My number 2, I think we talked about it earlier. You have Nick Chubb going down. You've got the guy who can get broken by a stiff breeze and Deshaun Watson go down for the year, and then you bring in an old veteran like Joe Flacco, and you bring him in to at right now have 11 wins and into the playoffs. My number 2 is Kevin Stefanski of the Cleveland Browns. My number 1, I think, is pretty obvious to anybody. You bring a team to win. The last time you win a division, you were in a division called the NFC Central, not the NFC North. I think this guy by himself should honestly be unanimous in the coach of the year. I think a lot of people will agree. It's Dan Campbell. I got a buddy who I'm friends with on Facebook that talks about kneecap soup. So Dan can't kneecap soup. So I think Dan kneecap soup Campbell should win the coach of the year, in my opinion.
Yeah. No, I guess my top 2, top 1 in each conference would be Campbell for the NFC and then Stefanski for the AFC. I feel like Stefanski. No, it'll probably be Campbell.
Yeah.
Because you haven't really made the playoffs all that much. Same thing with Cleveland. But you haven't won a division in 30 years, so.
Right.
I mean, it could go either way. Both coaches are deserving of it. Your list is deserving of it, but I wish we had votes in it.
Yeah, I wish we did too.
That'd be cool. Yeah. And I wish they had like a true criteria. A lot of things I wish there was a true criteria, especially for like MVP in each category. There's got to be some symbolism, I think.
Yeah, I think this whole thing with the MVP has always been a quarterback is kind of shady, but outside the center, the only person that touches the ball more is the quarterback. So
maybe you just need to go off of yards. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know, but something's got to change. But
yeah, but is there any other news that needs to be broke before we head off?
I don't know if you saw this. I don't know if you're into NASCAR, but Cale Yarborough died Cale Yarborough died this morning.
Oh no!
Yeah, 84.
Oh, no.
One of my favorite drivers when I was growing up. So yeah, that's a little tough one. Outside of that,
yeah.
I don't see Von Miller is a healthy scratch against the Patriots.
They're saving him for the playoffs.
Yeah, like you said, Howell's playing instead of Brissett.
Yeah.
Outside of that,
well.
Yeah, between the University of Florida and being in Indy, yeah. What else do I got? Kamara's in for the Saints. I knew he was questionable. They weren't sure if he was going to play, but if Alvin knows that he needs to play this game to get into the playoffs, I think we all know. No Hunter Henry, no Kyle Hamilton, no Donta Freeman. Like I said, no Josh Jacobs, but Alvin Kamara is in. Zay Flowers is in. Puka Nakua is in. Michael Pittman, Cole Kmet, and Kyler Murray are all in. So Kyler's playing.
That's crazy.
There's that.
Yeah.
I got
But
that.
with
I
that,
got
that is
that
it for
strictly
the.
from Bleacher Report. So we got I gotta at least give them some credit. So yeah, Bleacher Report for that information.
Yeah, that's where I got the referee news from them through
Okay.
Adam Scheffner. Uh, but I think that's it for 2023's edition of Morning Tailgate,
Yeah.
but not for the season, just for the
Not for the
year.
season. Yep.
Right. And with that, any final thoughts?
Wednesday we took C2C Rankham's going to be back on Wednesday. We took the week off because of the holiday. Um, Other than that, be safe. Have fun, but be safe. Uh, don't do anything stupid. If you need it, like Brandon said earlier, if you need a ride, call somebody. Um, but please don't do anything stupid because we want you to watch us on in 2024. We don't want to hear
Yep.
news about you in 2024, but we want you to hear your news about football from us, or all our news from other things and our other great shows between Sports Minute, between the entertainment hour, C2C Rankum. Four Bros is coming back. I really wish
Yep.
they would change the name to Bacon and Eggs, but that's me. I get that. They don't like that idea. Um, Immaculate Grid, Press Row
Yeah.
we got great shows. Between the Ropes, I don't want to seem to miss everybody. Creeping It Real. It's weird when we've got like a lot of shows and
Yep.
I got to try to remember them all. But be safe today.
Yeah.
I'll get to 2024 before you and I like I said, I want to hear. I
Mhm.
want to be able to tell everything about what's coming out in sports and entertainment instead of hearing news about what happened to you. So as long as we can tell you, we don't want to hear about you.
Yep. Unless it's good news.
Yep.
Unless you had some good news over the break, but
Yep.
yeah, thanks everyone for tuning in. A lot of great stuff coming to C2C in the new year. Check out social media for all of that. That should be breaking here in the next few hours, day or two. With that, have a great football Sunday. Have a great New Year's Eve. Be safe. And we will see you guys next week for another morning tailgate. Have a great Sunday, everybody.